Hi everybody, welcome to ADJ Los Angeles. I'm Edgar Bernal here with Jake Rhodes.
Hello, how's it going everyone?
And today we're going to be showing in a Facebook Live, thank you very much for joining from wherever you are. This is our brand new Entour Ice. This is a product that has just become available. And as you see here, we have the Entour Ice already set up. Jake, if you don't mind, maybe just talk about some of the components that we have here.
Yeah, sure. So let's start at the back here. So right here we have our two power con connectors. So this right here is going to be your primary. With that supplies the power to the unit, everything in the back here, and also the heater coils. And this is the auxiliary right back here, and that supplies 1,450 watts just to the heater coil, just in case anything happens or goes wrong. So you have those two separate power supplies. Make sure you plug them into two separate circuits. You don't want to overload anything. This is our 120 version. We also make another version that comes in 230 volt. Back here we have our 3 and 5 pin Dmx ins and outs that you can control. There's 3 different channel modes, A1, A2, and A6, which you can control for the units. Up back here you can set, on the OLED screen, you can set the timers, you can do manual back here.
So that's pretty nice. So with the Entour Ice, you actually have 3 different ways of triggering the low-lying fog effect. So you have Dmx, where you have 3 and 5 pin, so compatible with just about any Dmx control. Right. You have onboard timing control that you can do. So if you wanted to set it to a timer, you can do that as well. And as you probably saw there's a button right on the back, so you can do manual control as well. So however you want to trigger the units, it's all on board now. I see that it's already on. Did you by chance already, looks like it's set to 80 degrees. How long was the warm-up time for this?
So this unit takes about 45 minutes to heat up from its lower temperatures. It does get to 80 degrees Celsius, but you can select a couple different heating modes, all the way from 65 degrees Celsius to 80 degrees Celsius, depending on the type of fog you would like.
And then since we're back here, if you don't mind, we can show also the lid when open. I mean, it's nice to be able to store your dry ice easily, but you'll notice on the back here, it's got a really nice locking mechanism too to keep that lid securely closed. But now since we do have it open, go ahead and show us a little bit of how this machine operates. It just uses regular water, is that correct?
Correct. So all you need for this is clean water. What you do is you want to get your just regular hose or water supply and just put it in here, and all you do is fill it up. And the way you can tell where, if you need more or less, is this little bar right here, so lowest and the highest. If you have not enough water or too much water, the machine will not work. So there's a little safety precaution built in there.
Which is pretty nice. So if you're using the machine and you don't want to worry about damaging the machine, when your water level runs low, it will automatically turn off.
It will automatically turn off.
That's really awesome.
Yeah. And now we're just going to show you kind of how this works. So if you'll notice, there's nothing really in this basket area. That's because all the water is stored underneath it. And I'm going to show you exactly how it works. So when you activate the unit, all the water comes sloshing up from the bottom. And that fills the basket where the dry ice will be. And as you can see, it is a removable basket.
Makes it very easy for any kind of service you need to do. As you can see here, the water is going straight through. And one of the things you want to make sure is that there's no debris in there. So when you are running the machine, you're going to want to make sure you keep it clean. And right over here, I can see that you have the dry ice already ready in the basket.
Yep.
The basket actually holds about, approximately 26 pounds of dry ice.
Exactly.
I see here you're using a different type of dry ice than what I'm traditionally used to seeing. Usually it's a block form.
Yeah, so dry ice you can buy in 2 different forms, the block or then what we call nugs. So these are the little nugget versions, and these work really well only because they're already broken up and they dissipate a lot faster, so you get a lot more output than you would just putting 2 blocks in. But if you just need to drop 2 blocks, that works just fine, break it up. But the more broken up it is, the faster it'll dissipate and the more fog you'll get.
Nice, and then I'm noticing you're wearing gloves. Of course, when handling dry ice, you want to be as careful as possible. So we do recommend using gloves so that you don't, burn your hands or anything like that. It's not terrible, but just something easily avoided just by wearing simple gloves. So yeah, if you want, let's put the tank in here and let's give it a whirl. So included with the Entour Ice, as you see here, we have the unit. There's the basket that's also included. The hose that you see here in the front is also included. And back here, over near the floor, we actually have the top of the case So the Entour Ice is wonderful because it's already integrated into its heavy-duty road case with some very heavy-duty casters, which actually have brakes too, so you can wheel this around easily. Altogether, the unit weighs about 90 pounds, so definitely recommend two-man operation if you're using this on an event. But again, with warm-up time, with the hose, you have your case here to easily transport your Entour Ice. Really makes it easy for the event guys. And with a little warm-up time, I mean, you can show up to your event. If you know you're going to be using this, go ahead and, here, I'll pass this back to you.
Awesome.
You can just warm up your machine and then you're ready to go, kind of like how we have it here. So we're set up, and what do you think? You want to?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. So right now, Jake's just going to run in its manual mode, and as you can see here, we have the hose directed pointed out. This is our showroom here in ADJ, which is approximately, what is it, like 40 by 30?
Yeah.
Oh, so let's see, we got a little bit coming here. So I don't think we securely closed the lid there. But as you can see here, so I'm just gonna walk over here a little bit, and you can imagine with the fog not coming too high, I've seen a lot of applications where obviously you think of the wedding, the first dance is very, very popular for this type of effect, but also for stages. Think of applications where it can even be the heaviest rock band if they go into one of their ballads and they want to have a very kind of nice atmospheric effect where they look like they're on the clouds. Rock shows, houses of worship, obviously weddings like I mentioned, but any type of event where you want to look like you're on the clouds, you know, it's a very, very great effect. And with the Entour Ice, easily accomplishable, very, very easy operation.
And this is exactly where the multiple variations of temperature come into play here, because if you have a lower temperature, it's going to actually stick lower to the floor, and a higher temperature is going to make sure it comes up and kicks up a little higher. So as you can see, this is actually filling up our showroom pretty thick here. I'm already losing some fixtures over on the back.
Yeah, you can see over here, these fixtures, they stand about maybe 18, 20 inches tall, but as I'm walking around, the smoke is staying very low. It very, very quickly went around the entire room. So if you were doing a venue similar to the way we have our showroom set up, it's perfect to get this effect. And one of the things about it too is you can see it's still going. The Entour Ice can run up to about, I believe about close to 5 minutes. So if you needed this effect, I mean, especially for the first dance or the song, if it's about a 3-4 minute song, you can trust that you'll have this effect for the entirety of that song. But for videos, photographs, this is the type of effect that you're looking for. And now, with a unit that's already built into its own road case, you know, complete with the lid and the hose, easy operation, again, uses regular water, dry ice, and you're ready to go. So Jake, you know, once we're done, let's say the event, at that special event, that special time is over, what will we need to do then?
Barely anything, really, to answer your question. All right, let's say, okay, we don't want any more fog. All you can do, and depending on how you're controlling it, I'm just going to hit this smoke on and off video right back here. And then, as you'll see, it's going to slowly suck all the water back out of the top reservoir and go into the bottom, where it's going to start heating up again, ready for your next run. And I can just take my hose here, pull it away, unlock my wheels.
And then you're good. Now, one of the nice things about this too, since the hose is already on there, I'm having ideas to where you can have this, let's say, underneath the sweetheart table, or you can have this, you know, concealed somewhere to where you're not seeing the machine. But with this hose, it's got enough length to where you can maneuver this underneath tables and chairs to really get that effect without the whole unit being obvious in the event. So it really makes the Entour Ice very unique as far as what it does, and for being a professional machine, as you can see here. If you want to check out over here, the fog is still lingering, so we got a great job of the low-lying fog still just creating that kind of ambient effect. It's really, really nice. Now, I'm noticing the floor is a little slippery, but that's typically normal. But as you can see here, I'm not wearing any special shoes, so it's just something where you have to take a little extra care. Totally. But I mean, for the effect that it does, that's something you really, really need.
With dry ice, I'd also recommend probably putting a towel or something down just right in front of the nozzle. That helps soak up some of the moisture, but it's not necessary. And one last thing we wanted to cover was this little nozzle right back here. So with this unit, you don't need to tip it over, anything like that, to get all the water at the bottom reservoir. There's this little blue tab that all you need to do is flip up and the water will start pouring out of the reservoir. It's really important though that you wait until the water is lower than 30 degrees Celsius, otherwise you might burn yourself. So go ahead, let it power off and cool down before you empty the reservoir of water.
Well, that's really easy. I mean, ADJ has really thought of everything that goes into an event. So not such a long warm-up time, 45 minutes. You show up to your event, you start warming up your machine. Usually by the time the event starts and you get through all the formalities, the first, let's say the event comes when you need that low-lying fog, you're ready to go. And as far as you power down the unit, you get through your 4-hour event, I'm sure your water is going to be cool enough by then. You just release the water using that simple valve in the front there, seal it up, and you're ready to go. So really, the Entour Ice is really designed for the guy on the go that needs this effect, and with simple application use. Again, just dry ice and regular old water. So right now, I think we're good. I don't know if we have any questions. If anybody's sure. So what are some of the questions?
The price, and someone else wants to know if it will cause any damage to a bride's dress if it's at a wedding.
Oh, good questions. So the price on this unit is about $1,500 MAP price. So that's the advertised price you would see. And as far as affecting a bride's dress, you know, I was out there. I mean, I don't know how particular, let's say a wedding dress might be, but if it's anything like fabric or clothing, linen, I don't see any damage that can happen to that.
Fine. It should be fine. Should be no problem. It's just water that's coming out.
How much ice do you put in it, and how much water does it hold?
Great. So the basket is capable of holding 26.5 pounds of dry ice. So you can put up to that in it.
And then as far as water, the water, it will actually let you know. Once you're filling it up with water, it has a meter, and it'll let you know if you're right in the middle, so you don't overfill it, or run it underfilled.
And again, if you overfill it or underfill it, it will not run. So you can do a little test when you have it at the right level, press that manual button, if the water comes up, it'll run.
So how long can you keep the dry ice in there before it starts to melt on its own?
That's the dry ice, more of a dry ice quality question, because like I said, depending on if you're breaking it up, the more broken up, the faster it'll dissipate. So the bricks will obviously stay intact longer because they're more solid bricks, so it really just depends on the thickness and quality of dry ice, but it really just depends.
How heavy is it, and will it trigger fire alarms?
So dry ice usually does not trigger fire alarms, especially because fire alarms are usually up higher. That's more of a particular or a heating fire alarm will usually pick up that stuff, but you really don't need to worry about these setting off fire alarms because it's low line. And as for the weight with the case, it's going to come in at 97 pounds.
Yeah, so 2 people, I mean, it's got the handles on both sides, so very easy to load in and out of a van. And then again, with the wheels, you just set it down from your vehicle and you can wheel it wherever you need to go.
With that though, you do, when you have the cover off, if you're wheeling it around ready for your event, it does have handles on the side where if you need to pick it up over a cable, it's very easily to maneuver and manipulate even with just one person, so not too hard.
Does the hose have a storage, or do you have to haul it with the machine?
So there is no storage for the hose, but I would recommend, it's just like anything, just take extra care with it. The most important thing is here is the machine itself. But one of the nice things, the hose is available, so if anything were to happen to the hose, through our service department, you can purchase a new hose, have a spare hose if you need it. But again, just transport of this, it's very easy. You can purchase a bag, something that would hold fixtures or light moving head fixtures, and transport it in that.
How long is the whole hose, and can you use it without the hose? And I forgot.
You can use it without the hose. It's just not going to come out as low of the floor, so you might get a little weird disbursement. So when I tried it without the hose, it just didn't flow as well out. So it does work. I just don't think it works as well as when you have the hose and a really nice little vacuum cleaner-esque nozzle here to have it push out really low.
So I imagine without the hose, it would just kind of come out and hit a wider degree of area, kind of just sporadically, right?
Yeah, and it just kind of comes out in like waveforms, wavy kind of like that. So it definitely operates better coming smoothly out of the hose.
And I actually have seen that too, since the fog will come out and kind of give that wave. It's kind of cool if you're in an environment where you're around stairs. If you wanted to have that effect, kind of continue down the stairs, but it just gives ideas, you know, with or without the hose that's included, really whatever type of effect. I mean, most of the times you're going to try it out. If you can get to a venue ahead of time, especially if you want to let the staff know you're going to be using a machine like this, you want to get out there and give it a trial run, and then you can kind of get ideas of what your machine can do.
Exactly. And you can have your own hose on this, so say if this isn't long enough, I don't know what the dimensions of how long this hose is, but that's why it comes in and out, and it's not expressively made for this unit. You can have other different types of hoses, so if you need a hose that's 30 feet long and you can't put it right next to the stage, or you need to have it run right outside of underneath the curtain and out through, like for stage applications, you can do that. So you can have your own custom as long as it's okay for the unit.
All right, so everybody's asking for a second shot of the machine. It does take a time to warm up, and unfortunately we did unplug the unit just so the water can cool down so we can get the water drained out. But the good thing is with these Facebook videos, they're gonna stay on our page, so definitely check it out again so you can see the video with the Entour Ice in action. But I apologize for that again. Any other questions?
And there's also the Entour Ice video online you can check out if you want to see applications through there as well.
They want to know how many DMX channels, and can you talk about the power requirements again?
Oh yeah, sure. So the DMX, this has 3 different DMX modes, a 1, a 2, and a 6 channel. The 1 is just full on, full off. The second is full on and timer, and then the third one, which is the 6 channel, you can control all the attributes. So off the top of my head, you can turn the heating coils on and off. You can do the output. You can do the timer, the frequency. You can control pretty much everything that you can control with the unit through the back. You can control via DMX.
Wow, that's pretty nice. So, I mean, I would almost want to run it in DMX mode. You can always get a controller such as like our STC12. It's a very, very basic, little 6-fader controller with a master.
Exactly.
And something like that where you just need 6 channels of control. You could run a cable to your STC, and once you find the setting that you like, you can always have it ready. Maybe just turn up the master, and then your Entour Ice will function.
Yeah, any DMX controller, you can run this in 1-channel mode. You want it easy, you just want all the cable, go out of your controller right into the unit, and all you need to do is 1 fader if you wanted to do that. So any DMX controller can operate this. As for the power, you have, like I said, you have the two PowerCon outlets in the back.
Good. I'll flip it around for you.
Both these are 1,450 watts. That's the power draw. So the first one is going to be your main end. So that's going to control the power for all the displays and everything else, including the heater coil. So the main is required. The secondary one, the backup, the auxiliary, is not required. However, it will take longer to heat up, because the auxiliary goes directly into the heater coil, so that helps push out any more power that it needs to heat up if the main power is not pushing out all the water to the heating coil.
Can you use hot water from a venue to speed up the warm-up process?
Yeah, that's totally fine. I mean, if you want to put hotter water in this, that's fine. It has it'll show you what degrees Celsius it is when you put it in, so it just goes up from there.
Yeah, it's a thermostat built in, so obviously with cold water, it's going to take a little while longer to warm up, but if you use hot water and fill it with that, you'll see your thermostat get to the degree that the hot water is that it's being entered. And there are different modes you can run this in. So right now we were running at 80 degrees. I believe you can run it lower or a little bit
65 is
cooler.
the lowest you can set it to. 65 to 80 degrees Celsius is the range where you can preset the heating coils.
And that just determines the kind of effect you're going to get with it.
Yeah,
the hotter,
exactly.
the more, like a fog machine. When a fog machine's really hot, you get that smoke that comes out a lot. Whereas the same thing with the low-line fog machine. So at 80 degrees, you're going to get more of that smoke effect. A little bit cooler, it's probably going to go and dissipate a little bit quicker, right?
Yeah. Well, the hotter it is, the faster it'll pump out all the dry ice. The hotter it is, the faster it'll melt. So the hotter it is, the more output you'll get, and also how high it's going to kick up into the air. So if you have a cooler, it's going to stick lower to the ground. It's not going to be so hot coming out of the nozzle, so it'll stay lower and you won't have as much output. That being said, on top of the temperature gauge, you also have an output 0 to 100%, so you can control the output on top of the heat. So you get a lot of different control options. So it's not just the heat. You have pretty much all the control options you would want in a low-lying dry ice fogger.
Wow, so that's pretty cool. So you got 3 different modes of operation: standalone, DMX, and onboard. Then you have your basket for storing your dry ice very easily. Use with or without the hose. I mean, just a lot of things that make the Entour Ice great and almost customizable for any type of event. I think we had another question.
People keep asking again about how long they should wait to put the basket in and how long the dry ice will stay before it starts to dissipate.
Oh, that's a good question. So if you have the dry ice and you wanted to store it in there, I think I saw something where maybe it was about 3 hours where you can have the dry ice in.
Yeah, let me go look really fast.
So he's going to look that up, but right now we have the dry ice. Dry ice, just pretty much stays at its temperature. That's one of the reasons dry ice is probably the most ideal for using in a low-lying fog machine. But you can have that stored and then put it into the basket. And I think here we had it about at least an hour, hour and a half before we actually did this Facebook Live. Jake's looking up the actual fact of that right now.
So in our manual, it states the cooler box holding time is 10 hours.
Oh, wow.
10 hours. That's what it states.
Way off. So 10 hours, I mean, that's a really, really long time. You get to the venue at 8 a.m. and you need to run this effect for, let's say, late or in the evening. I mean, that's pretty cool. Even if you wanted to set it up beforehand, let's say you're the night before the event and next day you're doing it around noon, I mean, you should be good. So, yeah, that's a lot of, I mean, that's pretty nice.
Like I said, though, it also just depends on what kind of ice you're putting into it. The little nuggets are going to dissipate a lot faster. That's why I recommend them usage, because once you want to use it, you want to get all that ice out. You want the maximum output. But you can throw bricks in here and it won't have as much output, but it's going to hold longer. So it really depends on what you want in your effect. So let's say if you're doing a wedding, right, you're going to run that thing once. So you want to put all the little nuggets in there so it dissipates really fast and you get all of it out. But let's say you're doing a theater show and you need it to run for 5 minutes. Then you want some more consistent output. Then you're probably going to want to put bricks in there because it's going to dissipate slower, but it's going to hold together longer. So it really just depends on your application, what kind of dry ice you have, and exactly what you want.
Nice. And how common is it to find dry ice? Like, where did you go this morning?
I went to just a mechanical hardware shop. They do welding and stuff like that, and they sold the dry ice nuggets there. But I mean, you can go to any grocery store and get blocks of ice. You can go. There's a lot of
just like buying anything. You don't need any kind of license or anything.
No.
That's just dry ice, right?
Yeah, it's just dry. I think you have to be over the age of 18. Is that right? I think there's an age requirement to buy dry ice. I think there's you have to show your ID because it is a hazardous material. But that's it.
Okay, sounds pretty easy.
Yeah.
Do we have any other questions, Candace? Well, thank you guys again. I mean, we were really excited to show you the Entour Ice. This is, a unit that, again, is now available. It's in stock. It'll be at your local retailer very soon. I can tell you just from looking at social media, there has been a lot of buzz about this, so I was very excited to work along with our product specialist, Jake Rhodes, here to show you the unit. And I mean, I'm not going to get that out of my mind for a while, to where in this entire showroom we were basically on clouds almost.
Yeah, it's filled up the entire room. It's kind of crazy.
It just gives me a lot of ideas, and especially for all you event specialists out there, if you've been waiting for a machine like this, it's here. So the Entour Ice, again, is available, and very, very easy operations. I mean, it really doesn't take a super technical guy to run this. I mean, if I can do it, but it's really, really cool. It locks. You got your controls, you got your power, which is power con, so you don't have to worry about an IEC falling out. That's the worst thing, especially if you're looking for that effect. Hose is included, built into a road case. I mean, this is built for the road, really, so I'm just very excited about this product.
It's ready to go. Whenever you are.
And of course, for more information, you can always go on to adj.com. And I just want to take a second and thank all of our ADJ followers for always checking us out. We're looking to do more of these Facebook Lives. We miss you guys, and we're always excited to show you the brand new products such as Entour Ice.